Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a new promo that they released for the second half of Season 10. This one's called Pain. So, of course, we have less than a week left until the second half of Season 10 starts. And because of that, the last few days, they've really ramped up the amount of promotional stuff for the second half of Season 10, which is pretty cool. This is actually a pretty awesome promo that we're going to take a look at and break down here. Now, before we start, there are certain scenes in this teaser that they have already shown us before, so I did not include those here. And I only included shots that are new and we have not seen before. That way, this video won't be super long. And I also bundled related shots together and put them in sequential order as much as I could. So they're not exactly as you see them on the teaser, but they're pretty much the way I think they're going to show up, or for the most part, the way they're going to show up in the second half. So the first shot we're going to look at is this shot of Daryl and Carol. So of course this is inside the cave and this is when they are trapped. So we have Carol and Daryl talking. There's another shot where Carol tells Daryl, "I don't just want to kill Alpha, I want to hurt her." That's pretty interesting. For Carol, it's about hurting her. So it's going to be interesting to see how she does that. Will she go the extra mile and do something that might potentially harm someone that Alpha loves, for example, Lydia, in order to hurt her and then kill her? I doubt that Carol will actually go through with something like that, but it is interesting to kind of see how this comes around, because this is not something that they'll just put out there and not have it come back. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to bring this back. Then we have this shot of Jerry inside the cave. Someone is reaching out for him and trying to pull him out. He seems to be inside of a hole. He's trapped there. Then we have this shot of Kelly. Again, this is inside the cave. She's trapped. I think she's surrounded by walkers. It's going to be interesting to see how she gets out. We know she gets out. We know she makes it out alive. I think we've seen everyone from the cave trap in other shots that are taking place after the cave moment. And those characters are everyone except Connie and Magna. So we know everyone else makes it out. It's just a matter of how. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that actually comes about. Then we have this shot of Carol, again, inside the cave. She's looking at something. Then we have this shot of King Ezekiel. Now this one takes place during the Hilltop battle. They have recently actually released the titles and synopsis, which is very interesting for some of the episodes from the second half. I'll do a second video on that, so that'll be out right after this, so stay tuned for that. And that does reveal to us when the Hilltop battle takes place, so we'll revisit that. But this is during the Hilltop battle. King Ezekiel is just killing walkers. Then we have this shot of Eugene and Rosita. Again, this is during the Hilltop battle. They're just killing some walkers. Then we have this shot of Aaron. Then we have this shot of Rosita. She is swinging around her weapon, her signature weapon, her new signature weapon, I should say. And she's actually inside her home. Now, we do know that there's going to be a story where Whisperers, led by Beta, break into Alexandria and attack people in their houses and kill them. So this is most likely connected to this, and Rosita trying to protect her baby Coco and herself. So these are probably from the same sequence of events that are going to take place. Now, we also do hear in the background a voice that says, "My mother is coming." Not exactly sure who it is. It sounds like a female, and it doesn't sound like Judith. There isn't really too many characters who would refer to their mother on The Walking Dead. It's either Lydia or Judith, and that didn't sound like any of them, so that's interesting. I wonder if this is connected to other characters that we don't see, or characters that are just background characters and they are just talking during the battle at Hilltop or Alexandria. But that's very interesting. I doubt that they will just put random dialogue in there. So it's very interesting, and I'm very, very excited and intrigued to see who that's going to be that says "my mother is coming," and who the mother is, you know what I mean? And whether that connects to something bigger or not. Then we have this shot of Judith inside her room. She's pointing her weapon at someone. Now, again, we do know that Whispers, led by Beta, attack Alexandria and kill people in their homes. So I'm sure that this is going to be connected to that, and people are going to try to get into Judith's room. We may see a badass scene from Judith where she kills a Whisperer with her gun. So that's pretty cool. Then we have this shot of Carol walking past these frames on the walls that have the characters that have died. We have Glenn, we have Herschel, we have Sasha, and we have other characters who have died. Now this is inside Maggie's room at Hilltop, or used to be. Now, this could very well be an Easter egg about Maggie's return. We do know Maggie's coming back in the second half, so this could be a part of that. And also, another significant of this scene is that it's Carol looking at the frame, Glenn's picture, or a portrait of Glenn specifically, which leads to the question and does raise the possibility that it was in fact Carol that led Negan out of the cell. And this could be a moment where Carol kind of thinks about what she did and reflects on her actions. And this may be the time where we get the reveal that it was Carol that led Negan out. Then we have this shot of Carol crying. She's in the middle of a field somewhere. Then we have this shot of Alpha, and we have her knife right by her side. Now she has obviously at this point got into a skirmish with someone, into a fight. It most likely will be Daryl, based on early reviews that have come out for the first 2 episodes back. We do know Alpha and Daryl are going to get into a fight. That's going to be very interesting. So I'm leaning towards this being related to that, or related to a fight between Alpha and Gamma, or Alpha and maybe someone like Negan. But I doubt that they'll show any of that here. I think this is most likely from Alpha's fight with Daryl. So that's going to be very cool to see. We also have this shot of Alpha pinned to the ground, and we have someone putting a stick on her shoulder and trying to hold her down. This is most likely, again, Daryl, and this is part of her fight with Daryl, so that's going to be extremely interesting to see. And then this shot also connects to her fight with most likely Daryl, and we do see her actually shooting her shotgun, or pointing her shotgun at someone to shoot them, which is interesting. We've never seen her use her shotgun, so it's very cool that we're seeing that. It's also extremely interesting because she never uses it because she doesn't want to make a sound. They're known as the Whisperers for a reason. So it's interesting that she's in a position where she's forced to use her gun. So that's cool. Then we have this shot of Alpha. It seems like she's lying down on top of something and hiding. Again, this is connected to her fight with whoever she's gonna fight with, most likely Daryl again. And in the background, we hear her saying, "I am no longer weak, I am stronger than you." That's interesting, and it does raise the question whether it's actually Daryl, because now that I think about it, she wouldn't really be saying something like that unless she was talking to a Whisperer, you know what I mean? So she might be in a fight with Gamma here, and this might be a different instance than the fight that we see in a previous shot. So those may be unrelated scenes or 2 separate scenes. Now, what is she talking about? I'm no longer weak, I'm stronger than you. So obviously we know that Alpha and the Whisperers are all about the weak being exterminated and the strong rising. So maybe here what Alpha is saying, I'm no longer weak, I've learned from my mistakes and I'm stronger than you. Then we have this shot of, again, Alpha. She's bloodied and everything, just like the previous shot. These are actually from the exact same scene. And in the background, we hear Alpha saying, "We fear nothing. We are free. We are the end of the world." And this goes back to the ritual that the Whisperers have, where Alpha and Beta have been repeatedly heard saying this chant. Basically, we are free, we fear nothing, we are the end of the world. So this is most likely coming from there. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see who she's fighting with, but I'm leaning on either Gamma or Daryl, one of the two. Then we have this shot of a bloodied Daryl. This is a pretty cool shot, and, you know, if someone is not a fan of Walking Dead, when they see this, they're like, this is a character dying. But we know that Daryl is not going to die. We know he's going to make it out of this alive. But he is pretty bloodied up. Again, going back to what I said, this is most likely part of his fight with Alpha. Now, one thing that I want to mention here is this is how I wanted Daryl to look after his fight with Beta the first time. He looked nothing like this. He looked like he went unfazed. He looked like Beta didn't even put a scratch on him, which is not really what should have happened realistically. So it's pretty cool that they're actually having this time where it seems like Daryl has had to put on some work to win. You know what I mean? Now, we don't know whether he's actually going to win. He's most likely going to get out of it. And I don't think either Daryl or Alpha are going to get killed. But that's beside the point. The point is that this is how I wanted Daryl to look after his fight with Beta. I mean, he wouldn't have died. I didn't want him to die back then, back in season 9. But I wanted him to look like this, beaten up. You know what I mean? Then we have this shot of Alpha and Negan. They're walking somewhere. Now, we've talked about whether this is connected to Alpha's final comic moments or not. Now, I'm not going to get into that too much, but I don't think this is part of that. I think this is separate, and I think this leads to Negan revealing to Alpha that they have a snitch and revealing that Gamma is a spy in their community. And I think this is going to be leading to what's going to earn Negan his mask, his Whisper mask. Then we have this shot of Alpha at the Whisper's camp. Then we have this shot, which is very interesting. So we have Negan whipping Alpha and punishing her. We do see that here as well. So that's extremely interesting. We've seen previously Beta do this to Alpha because she was weak. So that's extremely interesting. Does this mean Alpha has replaced Beta and Negan is now the new Beta? I mean, that's what it seems like, which is extremely interesting. Something like this didn't happen in the comics, so I'm extremely excited and interested to see what they're going to do and how this is going to end up. Obviously, Negan has had to have earned some sort of a new rank to be able to do this. Alpha wouldn't just let anyone do this, you know what I mean? So that's extremely interesting. Then we have this shot of Michonne. It seems like she was sleeping. She's holding her gun at someone, and if you watch the teaser or the promo, she actually shoots her gun. So that's interesting. Now, what leads to that? Not sure, but we don't usually see Michonne use her gun, especially now. Or use a gun, I mean. So that's extremely interesting. I mean, what has forced her to use her gun? That's extremely interesting. Obviously, this connects to her final exit story arc. Now, if you take a look at what she's wearing, it matches exactly what she's wearing when we see in a separate teaser she has Lucille in hand and she hits someone with Lucille. Now, we still don't know whether that's real or a hallucination, but that's beside the point. The point is that she's wearing the exact same outfit. Same leather jacket, same bandana type of thing on her head. So these are from the same time. Then we have this shot of Michonne. She looks pretty angry. Now again, this is connected to her story with Virgil and the mission that she's on. Then we have this shot of Michonne crying, which is very interesting. Not sure what this is about. I'm actually very interested to see what leads to Michonne crying. She doesn't cry often when you think about it. So it's interesting to see that. Then we have this shot of Judith crying, which is interesting. We've seen other shots of Judith crying in a separate teaser, so this probably connects to that. And also, this probably connects to Michonne. She might have found out that Michonne is not coming back or something. I don't think anything is going to happen to Michonne, but just like Rick, they might want you to think at first that she has died or something has happened to her. And the characters may, just like Rick, think that she's dead. And then she might come back later on. We're going to have to wait and see. But it's going to be interesting to see how this impacts Judith, because she has lost a lot of people in her life. So it's going to be interesting to see how she copes with this loss. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a death. Even if Michonne just leaves or exits, it's still a loss for Judith. So that's going to be extremely interesting to see. But that's pretty much everything in this promo. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.